Okay. So we're leaving late tonight. We're in the Sikha, B'chukaisai, the second Sikha, and Chelik Zayin actually, page 202, Siv Zayin. Okay, so this entire Sikha we're discussing. We're learning this last Sikha for the Sikha. Let's just recap the point that the Rebbe is speaking about. The height of Yidden Lasad Lavai. 100 amas or 200 amas. According to Rab Meir, the height will be 200 amas. According to Rab Yehuda, the height will be 100 amas. 202. And the Nekuda that the Rebbe explained is that it refers to the height of Adam Rishon, which is the shleimus of a person, the way he was created. But it refers to the his halachti, a double lashon of hiluch, which means that there is a revelation l'mayla lamata and there's l'mata l'mayla, and there's an advantage to each one of them. So now, when you unify them both together, you get the height of 200 amas. And furthermore, according to Rav Meir, the union between these two levels, lasad lava, will be so one that it'll be in the same 100 amas, the shleimus of both avodas together. That's the Nekuda that Rebbe explained till now, and the Rebbe explained here in order 20 a big arichas about this regarding mokim ma'oren einem min amida, where space and above space become unified as one. Mitzad atzmos becomes one inyan mamish. I think I mentioned that there's a lashon over here that brings hayesh atzmai hu shem avaya. I think I may have mentioned last week that this is a concept that's known in Chassidus. You see it in order 20. Hayesh atzmai hu shem avaya. There's a concept of Chassidus that's known as Yesh HaNivra is the Yesh HaAmiti. It's a word that says in Biurei Isaiah of the Mittler Rebbe and other places, but this concept is actually a little different. Hayesh Atzmai Hu Shem Avaya is saying that the Gvul and the Bli Gvul is one thing. There is an idea that Chassidus talks about that the actual Yesh is Atzmos Mamish. That's the way the Yesh exists. Here it's talking about a different concept. Here it's talking about space being unified with above space. Because in the essence of the Eibishter, space and above space, or Gvul and Bli Gvul, are one and the same thing. And that's manifest in the way the Oren existed. Okay, so let's see Siv Zayin. Apikala now, kemanoich mevai zayin b'derech efsher, the shayches from the zwei shittes, we can explain possibly the connection of the two opinions, Mosayim Mama, whether according to Rab Meir that the height will be 200 amas, un mei amma, or 100 amas, Tzir Rab Meir and Rab Yehuda, to the ones that say it. Rab Meir's name, Meir, and Rab Yehuda's name. His name is Yehuda. So what's the connection to their names? Der Inyan von Mei Amma, the idea of 100 Amma, as the zwei beginnes, the two levels of connection to Hashem. Hamshachal mul Maila, when there's a revelation from above, which is Oyer. That's what Oyer is. It's the pure expression and revelation of the Eibishter, not with any limitations, which means not based on any level of existence, the way it's being contained and the way it's being received, but a pure revelation, the Eibishter expressing himself as he is, on his terms, not fitted to anybody else. That's Tam Shachal Mailo. But on the other hand, Unallah Mato, Keli. But then there's also an advantage to when you elevate from below, when there's a Keli, which means that you could reveal the truth about the existence of Welt itself. There's a big mila to that as well. So now here, Zen and Ein Inyan. They become one inyan, they become one thing mamish. How is it possible that it becomes one inyan mamish? Ken zayin blois mitzad atzmos. This is only by the very essence of Hashem himself. Mitzad the madrege von Oyer, on any level of Oyer, revelation of the Eibishter. Hagam as euchen im is faran nit nor die shleimus von Bli Gvul. So the Rebbe here says, well, you may think that Oyer means revelation. That's the first point we just said. So if so, the opposite, which is the elevation from below, doesn't come into Oyer. And therefore, this is only by Atzmos. So the Rebbe says, no, that's not the point. Because the Emes says, even in Oyer as well, so the shleimus of the Bli Gvul of Oyer is not only Bli Gvul, not Oich the shleimus from Gvul. Keli. That's the real concept of Oyer. Right, this is something that Chassidus speaks about, and it was in the Basi Lagani, the Ois of this year, Tesvav, the Friedrich Rebbe speaks about this. And here in Order 22, the Rebbe quotes the very famous Avedis HaKadosh that Chassidus quotes all the time about this. Kedisa b'Avedis HaKadosh, Oyer Ein Sof, and we're speaking about Oyer, the Eibishter Oyer Ein Sof, Kishem sheyesh lekoyach b'Bli Gvul, kach sheyesh lekoyach b'Gvul. He has a powerful Bli Gvul and for Gvul. And then he adds, V'ha'Gvul animtza mimenu tchila hu ha'kelim. What's the Gvul? That's the Kelim. Right, so what's the point that Avedis HaKadosh says? If you're going to say that the Eibishter could express himself only in a manner of Bli Gvul, but not in a manner of Gvul, so then he's lacking in shleimus. He could be on there however he wants to be. Only in Eifin of Bligvul. If he decides he wants to express and be in Eifin of Vul, he can't. Of course he could. But over there, the Gvul is all part of the Bligvul of the Eibishter. But nevertheless, the point is that there's Eir and there's Kalim. There's Gvul and there's Bligvul. Even if it's all a shleimus of one inyan, but nevertheless, there is still two things there. That's what the Rebbe says, going back into the Sikha. Is aber the Bligvul mit dem Gvul zwei Kaven. Nevertheless, the Bligvul and the Gvul are two kaven. They're two categories. Even though in the simple pshat of the Avedis HaKadosh, she's actually coming to say the exact opposite point. What's this Avedis HaKadosh coming to say? That the Gvul is part of the Bligvul. It can't really be identified as something separate. It's all one and the same thing. The Eibishter is unlimited, and the emes inyan of unlimited is that he has to be dafka neifin of Gvul. He has no definition at all. It's Gvul, it's Bligvul, it's all one and the same thing. Over here, Gvul and Bligvul are not opposites. It's one akuda. But the Rebbe says, no, it's not one akuda. Mamish. In Oir means expression. Expression means not the thing itself. What is the concept of expression? It's not only lahavdil by any entity. You have an entity, and then you have the way it's experienced, the way it's expressed, the way it comes out. An expression of Bligvul, an expression of Gvul is not the same thing. True mitzad, the shleimus of the Eibishter, Gvul is kailul, Bligvul, and it's one the same thing. But the fact is, the nature of Bligvul and the nature of Gvul is two different modes of expression. So even if it's unified as one, but it's still two kavan, it's still two ways of expression. That's if you're speaking about not the Eibishter himself, you're speaking about the Gili of the Eibishter. Now, dafke atzmus, was is mushlul von alle Teirim, the Eibishter himself, there is no description at all. There's no inyan of Oir. It's just the Eibishter himself. And here is a famous expression that the Rebbe Rashab says in Samach Vav: Shlilis HaGvul v'shlilis HaBligvul. There's no, you can't describe him not by Gvul, not by Bligvul. The Rebbe Rashab there goes on to say other, and it's a whole two lines there. It says Shlilis HaChiyav, Shlilis HaShlila. There's nothing stifis mokim. You can't even say that his shleimus is that he includes Gvul as well. It's not by Atzmus, it's not Shach to talk about any kind of description to start saying that he has this, he has that. It's Atzmus, it's the very essence, the Mechuyev, Amitzias, the Eibishter, the Emes, who he is, with no description at all. There it's one akud of Mamish. Legabei im zenen Gvul on Bli Gvul ein inyan. There it's taka one thing Mamish. So this is the distinction between the way Rabbi Yehuda sees this inyan and the way Rabbi Meir does. The far halt Rabbi Meir, Messiah Mama, so therefore Rabbi Meir says that the height of Yidin lost love will be 200 amas. When Rabbi Yehuda Meyam, Rabbi Yehuda says 100 amas. So what's the difference in their name? You see the difference. Rab Meir, the name Meir, as the name says, is in Yonah Yanim from Lashon Oir. It means light. That the Eibishter is a source of light. As it says in Chassidus, there's the Oir and there's Moir. Moir is the Eibishter being an illuminary. In other words, there's already a certain description there that you're describing the Eibishter as a Moir. There's the Eibishter being a Moir. There's the Eibishter being a Beire. So we're saying Moir. Even though it says in Chassidus that when you say Moir by the Eibishter, it's not really a concept of definition and description the way it is the Moshel Agabi, the sun, Lahavdil. The sun is also a Ma'ir. It's an illuminary that's a source of light that comes out of it. The sun is created to be a bright existence. It's already Chatchila, a teva of brightness. And the brightness comes out of the sun. By the Eibishter, the fact that he's Ma'ir is not that the Eibishter is defined or described as Ma'ir. It could be Ma'ir, it could be Beire, it could be the Eibishter is, as he just said, Shlilasa, everything. There's nothing is Tefes Mokim. But nevertheless, Oir comes from and is an inyan of expression, and therefore we relate to the Eibishter in reference to Oir as Ma'ir. That's right. So even though it's really all part of the unlimitedness and the Eibishter not being defined at all, but nevertheless, there is still a definition of Oir here, about the Eibishter being expressed and experienced in this Eifen. Und wie bald das mitzad Oir zenen hamshache, which is Oir, and Halah, Kalim, Zwei Inyanim. So it's two different Inyanim, there's Oir and Kalim. Therefore, he says, when this is going to be unified in a person, that there'll be on one hand the shleimus of the revelation from above, but at the same time there'll also be the shleimus of the Aveda from below. You can't unify them together to mamish be one akuda. Impossible. Mitzad Oir and Kalim is two different inyanim. Rabbi Yehuda is Moloshen Haidah. What's Rabbi Yehuda though? Not revelation. Yehuda means Haidah. What is Haidah? Today's Hayom Yom. The Maidani Vayid. Right, the Maidani Vayid that you say before you wash Negel Vasa. There's no name in Maidani because it's not speaking about a level of understanding, a level of expression of the Eibishter that you are experiencing him, you're feeling him, and therefore you're thanking him. You wake up, you open up your eyes. The first thing you say, Maidani, to the Eibishter himself, beyond any name. That's the Maidani of a Yid. Right? So when a Yid says Maidani, that's this union of Haidah. The real concept of Haidah is absolute bittul. And that's how a person connects to the very essence of the Eibishter himself. The Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe in the Torah, last week's Parsha, brings the Zayar that says, Man b'leikara b'maidim, one that's not Kaireya, doesn't bow by Maidim, is not Zeichet Tchiyas HaMeisim. The Alter Rebbe says, why? He didn't bow, Sacha Koil, he forgot to bow, so he's not going to be Zeichet Tchiyas HaMeisim. So the Alter Rebbe explains, you could be davening, you could be saying, you could be screaming, Havaya Achot, with the ganze Kavanah. You're taka holding on a very high level. And you even davening Shmei Nesr, with your feet together and davening Balachash, which expresses a tremendous level of bittul, even if you're davening Mamish Be'emes on the greatest Kavanah. But you didn't bow by Maidim. What does that mean? The shleim, the tachlis abittul, that the person's kaifif is mitzias, like my head and my feet are the same. To be maided that it's ois mitzias legamri, that he didn't express. He didn't come to there. It's all elevating a person higher, 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 but what's with ois mitzias, that you didn't come to. Tchiyas HaMeisim is only for those that have that tachlis abittul in them, at least in the physical motion of the body. Yeah. So the Rebbe, Rabbi Yehuda, which is this Haidah, halter meya amma. Therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says that the height will be meya amma. So Rabbi Yehuda is not less than Rabbi Meir. Rabbi, he's more. He's deeper. The meya is taller. This is the Hechatimtza where you have shorter being taller. That is, we are going to be 100 amas, but the 100 amas is the unification of L'mayla L'mata, L'mata L'mayla, Iris and Kalim. Our connection to the Eibishter is not in one path or the other path, going up, going down, or even both together. It's not. It's the essence of the Yid, which is one with the essence of the Eibishter, the Mesiras Nefesh of the Yid. Mesiras Nefesh of Yid is not based on any expression. It's not based on any experience. It's instinctive. When a Yid has Mesiras Nefesh, it's because he derhered a certain gewaldige gilui of the Eibishter. That's what brings Mesiras Nefesh. Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, what's Mesiras Nefesh? It's instinctive. You can't. This is who I am. This is the essence of the Yid. So this is the Haidah, the Maidani of every single Yid, the Pintal Yid that doesn't change by everybody. And that's why it's Meyameh. Over here it becomes one in Yamamish. Let's see 1 second. One more Ha'ara, finish off the Sikha here. Ha'ara 28. So here, for the Rebbe's Mitzayin, Ha'ara 27, the source of this concept about Haidah is in the Siddur Sha'ar Lag Baimeh. Why? What's the connection of Lag Baimeh to Haidah? Because Lag Baimeh is Haid Sheba Haid. So in Haidah Gufa, there's different dargas. There's a Haidah that is still related to a person's understanding, but then there's Haid Sheba Haid. That's the Maidani, where there's Haidul Hashem Kira V'Shmai. There's also Haidah, but there you say a name, Haidul Hashem. And then there is Maida Manachnu Lach and Shmai Nesra. But the Maidani, that's the Haid Sheba Haid, where it's pure Haidah, the moment you open your eyes and you thank Hashem and you Maida to the Eibishter, that I belong to Hashem. That's this Haid we're talking about here. That's the Teichen and the Siddur Sha'ar Lag Baimeh. In Ha'ara 28, the Rebbe says, Yeshleima shezeu gamatam lama lama sha'inyan the meya ama nirmis betilim dafka. Where is the source of this inyan of the height of meya ama? It's in a pasuk in Tilim. What was the pasuk that was quoted? The Gemara brings the pasuk of again Asher banenu kinetiyim megudalim benureim benesenik is obvious b'chitavis tachnis heichal, comparing the height of the Yidden to the structure of the heichal. So why dafka the structure of the heichal? Why dafka pasuk in Tilim? That is okay. Yeshleimar. So we can say the reason is, I went back up. So the reason is, ki ashira is v'sishbach is the Tilim, who can Haidah. The songs of Tilim is the Inyan of Haidah. Tehillim is different than other halakim of Nach. You have Nach, they're psukim that we learn, that we understand. So even though Tilim is also l'chayre psukim that you can learn, there's Pirush Rashi, there's Mitzudis, Radak, all the Pirushim on Tilim, just like you have in any other chalik in Nach. But nevertheless, Tilim we say as Shiras V'Sishbachis. So the Shiras V'Sishbachis of Tilim is the fact that a Yid is not understanding, but the fact that a Yid is singing and thanking the Eibishter. That's the Yid of Tilim. So much power to him. Correct. Yeah. Right. Tremendous. But 1 second, I realized that we skipped a paragraph of the Sikha. Nobody stopped me. I just chaptzich that we skipped the last paragraph of Oizvav. Yeah, I want to go if we could just finish. No. We didn't do the last. Am I right? Yeah. Because I just realized, because looking back to that pasuk of Tilim, that Rabbi has an interesting diuk when you get to this pasuk in Tilim. What's the source of that pasuk? It says there, Keneged, so the Lashon of the Gemara is Keneged Heichal Uksalov. The height, Lasad Lava, will be corresponding to the Heichal and its walls. So the Rebbe has Medayik, the Gemara, everything is precise. Why does it say Heichal Uksalov? The Heichal. It's the height of the Heichel. What's Heichel Uksala? We're pointing out Dafka the walls. So look in the last paragraph of Sivav. Und das ist was Rabbi Yehuda is Madgish Keneged Heichel Uksalov. What's the word of Ksalov? So the Rebbe says, I say, now the point according to Rabbi Yehuda, as am Shach mol Maila, on Allah mol Mata. Zenen and Beis Hamikdash given in ein Inyan, that in the Beis Hamikdash these two opposites are unified as one. So before the Rebbe brought that it's expressed in the Orin, but here the Rebbe says something else. It's also expressed in what the Gemara is saying, the Heichal and its walls. Because when you say Heichal and then you say its walls, you're actually saying two opposite points. Heichal means a structure where everything is taken inside. You build a home and then you put all the furniture inside, and it's like a place that unifies everything inside it. Like in the Beis Hamikdash, you had the interior of the Beis Hamikdash, you had the Menorah, the Shulchan, the Mizbeach, where everything is inside the Heichal. Then there's Ksalav. Ksalav is the opposite. The Ksalim von Heichal haben genutzt zum Mafsig sein und voneinander teilen, that is, zwischen ein Inyan mit der zweiten. The idea of a wall is to create a separation, to separate between one thing and another. Und zij Guf is eine gewähnt, a Teil von dem Heichal bis in Yoni is Achtos. The emphasis of the Gemara is that we're talking about the Inyan of Heichal. Heichal is sort of revelation. Heichal is inclusion, where everything is included in that space. That's the idea of Heichal. But then there's the Inyan of Ksalav. Ksalav is limitation, to put a limit, a wall, till here and not any further. There's an inside, there's an outside. So the diak of the Gemara, Heichal Ksalav, is to say that with the Eibishter's truth in the world, there are two things. There's one thing about revealing the Eibishter through a nest and showing how really it's all the territory of the Eibishter. You look at the world, there's no teva, there's no rules, there's no system, there's nothing. It's all there, whatever the Eibishter wants. It's all his territory. That's the idea of a heichal, that the whole world is like a heichal. But then there's the idea of a kaisel, where there is a wall, and you can't get past that wall. There's the veld, and you see the teva, and teva sets a certain, it's like tubu b'yamsuf. Tubu b'yamsuf means it's submerged in the Yamsuf, and in other words, this is the way it is, and you can't budge it. When chas v'shalom, a person in this situation, it feels like Teva says it's impossible. It's a wall. To reveal the Eibishter also in the wall, in the place where there's a separation or interruption, where you don't see the Eibishter. So it's not only about Heichal. Heichal would mean Mulmayla Lamata. Ksalav means even when there's a wall, you also bring the Eibishter there. That's what the Gemara is medayik, not just Heichal. Heichal Ksalav. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. When you have the real Mesiris Nefesh, the real Moedani V'Yid, you can break through every barrier, every wall. That's the real koyach of bringing the Eibishter into every part of the world. That's the Meya Amalos of Lavi that will be revealed in every single person. Amen. This is the nice. Which what? No, it's in Kapitel Samaches. Where was it? No, actually, I'm making a mistake. No. It's in Pasuk Kapitel Kuf Mem Dalet. In the beginning of the Sikha, that was the sign. Kuf Mem Dalet, Pasuk Beis. Shab Baneinu Kenitim B'Gedalim B'Neinu. Yeah. Okay. No, we have to find a Pesanu Sikha. We have to find something to learn Pesanian.